Start recording. Yes. Welcome to the Market Watch Group weekly market wrap. I love the new system. I do not miss Zoom at all. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with links and posting links and keeping links current. And so I believe this is the right solution for our group. I believe that now I am in Discord Nitro. You're like, what does Nitro mean? It means it's extra awesome. Yep. So we're Discord Nitro. We have like 15 server boosts. Boom, boom, boom. You can tell probably. And here we are. Let's get into it. Yes, welcome to the Market Watch Group weekly market wrap. I'm Scott. Here's our disclaimers. Be careful. We're not advisors. We're not brokers. No recommendations, no advice. Yada, yada, yada. Today's agenda. I don't know. We keep getting like, hey, it wasn't as good of a jobs report, and so maybe that's good because maybe the Fed won't, and we're in a weird place in the way that we're processing news and then seeing how it correlates into price action. That's why I like to maintain the postures, just to kind of like keep ourselves rooted. Our analysis will carry us through. So we'll look at what today did, then we'll look at what we think the market is showing us. I'll tell you an interesting point of strength. No slide on screen. Wait, you don't see my screen? No slide on screen. Do you see my agenda screen? No. Yes. I'm getting mixed answers between Bob and Steve. Can I get a third person to weigh in? Sandy is good. Okay. Bob's rebooting. Everybody else, we're assuming, can see it. And let's get going. Okay. Did you see that anybody who is in the trade alert, two things. Number one, I'm going to look at closing it, and I'll tell you why. Number two, a new calendar spread alert came out. Did you see? It was posted in the announcements, and then an email came as well. So just make sure you saw that. What trades will we carry over the weekend? Possibly not the old calendar spread. I would love to, but it's in a place where it's a little at risk of, if we had a bullish jump on the market, a beautifully profitable trade could go against us, and then you'd feel really foolish. So we'll take a look at that. Love it. Thank you, Bob, for letting me know. What are we looking at next week for the economic calendar? That's important. We'll look at our trade list, but I don't know. And we're wrapping up trading plan progress for the market forecasts. There's been a little bit of interaction. I'm going to try to do better. You guys try to do better. Let's collaborate on our trading plans in the Trading Plan Discussions text channel. All right, let's go. Today's market, we gapped up and we ran a little bit, and then we sold off, and we dipped, and then we rallied back up, and we got back to that high, and we're dipping back down now, and we're about where we started. So what do we have here? A doji. We have a doji. Now, we still have 38 minutes. But as of right, we have a doji. We have a doji that is, in my opinion, at the previous high where we've already been. Some people were like, well, we got higher. Okay. What does that mean? Does that mean, in your opinion, it broke out? Not for me. What does the volume tell us? Well, this week we had 5 days. First day, we went up a little bit. No volume at all. Second day, we dropped. Above average volume. Third day, we dropped a little further with above average volume. Fourth day, yesterday, we recovered with below average volume. Now we have a day up with no follow through on what's likely to be below average volume. We're at 52 million, 37 minutes left. I think we could get to 65. That's still below average volume. SPY trade made a little money today, Bob said. Nice. Good to hear. Good to hear. I would love to see if you have, you should have a spreadsheet of record keeping for just that trade. Is it 2 trades a day, 2 butterflies each day? Is that the system? 2 butterflies each day, and then that'd be 10 trades a week. Is that right? Like clockwork, or not really like that much like clockwork? Let me know. I'm curious. Trade for 2, sometimes only get 1. So what, like 6 or 7 trades a week? Take you about a month to get 1 column of data. 4 months and you'll have a full set of data. Yeah, make sure you do that. Super important. Okay. Now what? That's today's market. Let's think about overall. Here's the first question. Do you believe we're going to have some discussions. I do need to get a drawing tool. Ready? Because I don't have my drawing tools anymore. Let's go blue, pencil. Now, you can see that we had an up, down, and now it's turning back up. Is that a bounce? Do you believe that this has gone up, made a lower high, but then at the same time also made a higher low? Yeah, I mean, the long-term score, we've already said, there's nothing that's going to shift that. And there's nothing that's even happening now that makes it think it's going to shift. But for the short term, our score is a 1. We're a 1. Does this make you go back to 1 1/4? Is that a high or low? Here's the thing, though. I mean, technically, this was a lower high when it turned down like that. So that should be minus 0.25. And then this is a higher low, higher than this, positive 0.25. I mean, we'll talk about it again. I'm leaning towards unchanged, but let me know what you guys think. Volume, you can see we had 2 above average volume days for sellers. It's going to get worse for volume, but I'm going to leave the score where it is. It's at minus 0.75. I know it can get worse than it is now, so I'm not going to take it to a -1, right? That's where I am. So I'm unchanged through here. An argument could be made for 1.25. So someone could say, actually, it got a little better. Okay, let's move to the second half. Major market. What do we think? The NASDAQ or the Russell's actually held up. In fact, the Russell did surprisingly well with today's news. Let's take a quick peek at that information. Here's the IWM. Well, it's given some back, but it's I would say that we're more likely to see this stay the same than make a change. Sector rotation, we got a little bit of a maybe like a boost in consumer discretionary. There was all of a sudden a little bit of a boost there. Oil, energy and oils dropped. Financials and industrials still look pretty good. I'm going to say that if anything, sector rotation may go back to 1/4 point. Thoughts? So far I have 2 things that might change, and the 2 that might change would do so. Oh, that's a good point, Bob. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun. Bob's like, hold the phone. Utilities, Staples, not enough. I'm on the fence with Staples. 100% he's right. Utilities is showing some defensiveness. So, maybe it's going to stay the same. I don't think it'll go negative. I don't think that one surge in Staples is going to, or in utilities will be enough. So maybe not. I don't know. As of right now, I would say that most likely I'm going to stay the same. If anything, I'm up 1/4 point. Lastly, that's through 5 categories, 5 points of analysis. Let's go into the VIX now. Here's where it gets interesting. Right? What is going on here? So same thing. Do we look at this as having been a same low followed by same low all the way back down, followed by a lower high? I'm saying yes. That's a 1/4 point in the positive for the lower low. Thoughts? And that's interesting to me because the institutions, this is actually why I'm like, you know what? I feel good putting on the calendar. Worst case scenario, if the market gets more bullish, it will drive the VIX down to here and I can put another one on and we'll have 2. If it just grinds sideways, which is what I think is going to happen, it'll do what this first one's done, which is I don't have to do a dang thing. I almost said a bad word. My wife sometimes is like, you shouldn't curse. I'm like, I don't know. It's pretty casual. I wouldn't do anything in that case. And if it were to go the other way and spike up here, I'd be able to put on a butterfly. So that's, for those of you who are thinking about that calendar spread, that's the thought process that I'm working with here. I think it's a very good chance I don't have to do anything. If it does make a move, I can adjust it either way. Make a move up, make a move down. I'm ready. Okay, so yeah. Yes. Questions, comments, concerns? I think that if anything for me, sorry, I have some like music, my focus music in the background. All of a sudden I'm like, that's driving me nuts. A little classical music going. Yeah, I think that's going to pop back up. So I would estimate somewhere between 3 and 3.5. 3 and 3.5. Now, remember, here's what's interesting, okay? We keep correlating this market. We got to look at a couple more things here. We got to look at this market relative to right around this time here. Right around like August 24th through September 11th. Somewhere in that late August, early September time frame, okay? Go in my Wayback Machine. Now you'll look back in late August, we had same thing. We had dropped down to about 5, we went down near about there, about the same thing, right? 4 weeks in a row, well off of that, and then what? And then we got about 3 weeks where we bounced back up. That was in September 3rd, 10th, 17th. So that puts us in this area in here. It was trying through here. And then all of a sudden we dipped again, right? So there are signs that will make it look like things are better because that's how we assess things. What I'm saying is, due to this correlation, I'm going to be cautious. Right? Press says it crushed lower. Yeah. So right now, I'm still of this school of thought that this right here is almost identical to this right here. Just a little bit more and then a little bit up and then. So how do I trade that? I'm very cautious bullishly. There's still some potential in here. There was bullish money there. We traded bullishly back in here, not very much. But my posture back here was still in October, around October 3rd, 4th, 5th. I don't know what's going on there. That's so weird, right? Oh, there it is. I was still a 1. I'm still willing to go either way in that situation through here. And then you'll notice that, it dropped a little further still. I think we're in a very similar pattern. So, right now I'm thinking that this is very similar to what we see here. We're a little bit of a hook and then it popped a little, but let's be very, very mindful. We're still well below the highs. Similar pattern in early 24, then up a long time, right? So here's the deal. A 10% correction is not uncommon nor unhealthy for a bull market. Regularly happens. So do I think that we could have another one of these coming off of that? But if this lasts, we still have, this was August 28th until, that's 2 more months. 2 more months puts us in July. What might we start seeing in July? Information that makes us think the Fed's going to raise or lower rates in September. If we get that, hell yes, we'll pop out of this. If we get to a point where the Fed raises rates again, that's going to throw us into a whole different kind of a story that we have to figure out. That's my opinion. I don't think we're going to get there, but speaking of, let's take a quick peek. So that's what I think about the market posture. I think that's where we'll end up, but we'll see. Of course, we're always surprised a little bit. It's nice to get an early look. It's nice to be able to go back and correlate, right? What have we seen in the past? How does this look similar or not? And what do we think is next? Okay. So let's take a look at a couple of things here. Give me just a second. Fed Watch. Starting from the beginning. May. No expectations. Or sorry, not May. June. June 12th. We're already 5 weeks away. Come on, FOMC. You're embarrassing me in front of my friends. $39 days. 5.5 weeks. What's the expectation in June? None. July. 2-1 against. So it's not that we're looking for the Fed to give us signs that they're going to do it then. We're saying we're looking for signs in July that make us think September's when we get it, right? Here you can see we're back to where we're not quite 2-1, but better than not odds for a cut in September. There you go. Prevailing story is relief that Jerome does not intend to raise rates. Yep, there you go. Thank you, press. Yeah, November gets better. December gets better. If we actually had a little probability for rates going up, like 5% only, but still, it was there. It was there. What do we have next week on the economic calendar? Literally nothing. Right? The market's going to be wandering somewhat aimlessly, if you ask me. So Monday, minor Fed speak. Barkin and Williams, not much. Tuesday, credit, nothing there. Wednesday, minor Fed speak, nothing there. Thursday, jobless claims. We've seen no reason to think there's anything to be concerned about. Friday, a consumer sentiment number, which if it comes down a little, we actually wouldn't mind that. As you move towards the Fed and their what do they need to see in order for us to get rates to drop? They need to see numbers come down. What needs to happen for numbers to come down? People have to stop spending so much. So if they're a little less confident and they spend a little less, That helps numbers come down. What else helps numbers come down? A lot of what we've seen recently was rent and energy. So let's take a look at oil, the driving factor behind energy. I think I need a new battery in my keyboard. So bear with me as it frustrates me. Oil tested the 50, started to bounce, rolled over, broke the 50 on increased volume. Now we're at a new low. This is great. If we get another one of these and we're back down here in the mid to low, ideally more low 70s, that is, I would say, ideal to give us less stress on prices coming from the energy market. Rent, I don't think there's anything we can do about that. I don't think those prices are going to come down just for any other, especially not now. But if we get a little bit of consumer price easing and we get energy price easing, that might be the final level that the market needs to get to whatever the Fed's looking for. Okay, look, we are where we are. Employment's still good enough. Let's assess employment week. As you look at last week now, what did we have? Home prices went up. Consumer confidence went down. Not a bad thing right now. Not a bad thing at all. ADP numbers went up and stayed in a growth level. Job openings dropped a little bit, but still, that's outside of the pandemic, that's significantly higher than we've been ever before in a bullish market. Jobless claims as expected. Today's report, 175. So that was not as strong as expected, but that's actually still growth. YSCC down, a good thing. If consumer confidence ebbs a little bit, Sandy, then consumer spending is also likely to ebb a little bit. And if we stop spending, then that just takes a little bit, like I said, a little bit of consumer easing on consumer pressure, a little bit of easing on energy pressure. I don't think there's anything we can do about rent pressure. And that's what we need through the summer to kind of give us that, things are still growing, economy's still good, but inflation has eased and the Fed can now start to ease up. That absolutely would be a nice July catalyst for a late summer into fall bull market, which cyclically is on the table. It's in the cards for sure. But we were down to 175, but that's actually still positive by way of it does say that we went from 3.8 to 3.9, but remember in the threes at all, we're at historic lows for unemployment. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns about anything here in real time? Let's get to our watch list and just kind of get a sense of things in there. Oh, okay. Actually, before we go any further, here is the SPY. Okay, two things I need to do. I need to put this on in the paper account. Oh, I could have got it for 95. I don't know if I can now, but we'll see. Confirm and send at 95. That's the new one. Okay. The old one. So I got 95. I don't know if anyone tried it, but I did get 95. The old one is now here. What have we done? To hold on to this thing into the weekend, I want to be inside of this triangle, and we're not. Right? You see it? If we were sitting here at let's say even at 509.5, So let's look at this top line only. If you notice that if I hold it for 1, 2, 3 days, by the time we get back, I'm at 715. And if we were to move out here, I'm still at 520, which is, not that far off from where we are now. But out here, if we were to shoot up to like 505, you'll notice that it really starts to, by the time, now if we get to Monday and we get up here, not 505, 515, all of a sudden we're only making $150. It's like, wait a second. Oh, I got 95. Okay, there we go. 95 is good. So at this point, the fact that we're holding on at 511, I'm going to just take the profit. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, I think we're more likely to bounce down, and you hang on to it, if this thing comes back to 505, if it comes back to 505 on Monday, so let's move this back here, the reward is phenomenal, right? At that level, you're around $900 in profits. I just don't have the confidence in that based on where we are right now. So remember that this is not a like, hey, how much can I make? Our goal is 30%. This is actually profiting. Well, let's see what we can get for this thing. Let's go to SPY. And we're looking at these two here. I'm going to sell this. 135. That looks good. Let's try it. 135 it is. Now, how did that do at 135? Well, the original trade was put on for 88 cents. So we made $1.35. Initial investment, 88 cents. 47-cent gain on an 88-cent investment. 53%. 53%. And that trade lasted for 9 days. 9 days, 53%. And what did the market do during that 9 days from April 24th until now? April 24th is here. That's where we put this trade on. And the market went up, down a little, then back, and then up a little, then down, and now it's up here. So it's overall sideways to slightly up. How did the trade do? 53%, 9 days. What was the target? Here was the alert. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see how we did. We said 7 to 10 days for time in trade. We were in there for 9. Primary target, over 50%. We got 53. Okay. I mean, I don't, pat myself on the back, but pat. Love it. Next one is on. Posture is right for it still. What do we do in sideways markets? We trade sideways strategies in sideways markets. Calendars, butterflies, they're adjustable. A lot of times you can just end up sitting on them. You're like, oh, it just kind of works out. And you're not like stressing. Am I in at the right time? Do I get out now? Do I wait? Do I wait a little longer? Right? You just kind of let it go. And you're like, okay, look, it's Friday. I would love to hold this on Friday. If we opened where we were, I would have held this for sure. And then we would have booked. We had one of these that did 120% back in December. That would have been one like that. But it didn't. It popped up a little bit. Great. So what? I put the new one on. And next week, I can look to put the next new one on. These trades can just be, look, as long as you don't put them on at the same place. Now that I have one at 512, I don't want another one at 512. I would put it up here. I'd put it down here. But for now, I'm good. In another week, I can put another one on, right? I can put a different one. So next week, I'm thinking about adjusting this one. at the end of next week, I'm thinking about the next week. And it's always nice to start it on a Friday, right? We can always start it on a Friday and get what? 3 free days of time. Here's the trade now. We no longer have that trade. That was profit. Now we have this. Now we have this. What am I getting? I'm getting $30 a day of time. You're like, that's not much, Scott. It wasn't much on the other one either. Right? You don't notice it at first. And then all of a sudden you're like, this trade's making a little bit. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, look at that. It's a couple hundred. Then you're like, look at that. It's up at, yeah, that's how this trade works. It makes $500. So we get 1, 2, 3 days. 3 days in. And now this trade at the same place it is now, it's up $130. Remember that if it drops down here to 506, you're like, oh, I better be ready at 506. You'll be fine at 506 because what happens if the market drops 1%? Volatility usually goes up 2.5%, 3%. And if the volatility goes up 2%, right there at 506, you're actually still making money thinking, you know what? I can hold on to it right here. If it drops down to 504 and you get 3%, and at 504, you're still making money, but you're thinking, I'm so close to this edge. What can I do? Well, vol's up a little bit. Now I can put a butterfly over here. A butterfly over here. And now all of a sudden, I'm good from 494 to 522. 494 to 522. This is delta neutral trading. If I'm good from 494, that's the low, to 522, that is very close to the high. I have this whole 10% range. What do we expect in these markets? It's neutral. Selling may go away. Now, if it goes worse, if all of a sudden it turns bearish, hopefully I'm doing what? Booking gains and putting on speculative trades to the downside. We've talked about that too. Right? If all of a sudden the VIX starts giving higher lows, I'm gonna manage what I have, put on some puts. Did I close it out? I closed mine, Bob. If you think that we're more likely to end up under here for the weekend, you would hold on to it. If you're concerned, this is my concern color, that it's up here, then you're going to close it. And I know that we can still bounce further because, like I said, we're equating this to a time when it did go a little bit further, and I don't want that. I don't want that. Yeah, the last 2 weeks has been hard, right, Press? It's been choppy. It's been a difficult market. Posture's been dropping. Hopefully, even though you've been chewed a bit, it's been not so bad because your risk management has shrunk based on your market posture. I hope that's the case. Let me know. Okay. That's the alert news. And now let's go through very quickly the watch list. Look at Apple. Big gap up. It's not holding on, but it's still way up. A lot like Google. AIG looks great. Just looking for the pullback. AMD, not good. Amazon looks okay. I'm still considering. I think AXP still looks strong. I think Boeing does not. I think Bank of America, do you see the pattern? Financials, Citi not as much. Caterpillar, industrials, more concerning. Chipotle looks good. Capital One. So any bullish trade that I'm thinking about for next week is in the financial sector. I'm thinking about it. The volatility's come down a little bit. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking maybe like a broken wing butterfly. A broken wing butterfly. Even though this is down a little bit, it's still not low. Where if it happens to break above 150, I'll still do okay. Like I'll make some money, but I have a much better range between 140 and 150. Right? That's my thought for something like that. Give me your thoughts. We're playing the odds to some extent, if that makes sense. Okay. Caterpillar, we looked at. No, where are we? Costco. Costco looks like it's trying to break out. That's a good defensive play. If it makes a new high and then pulls back to a higher low, I'm back in. I would trade Costco. Delta looks bullish but needs a pullback. The Dow, like everything, popped a little today, but we'll see. Bitcoin looks down trendy-ish. GE Aerospace, I don't know. I still think I want more of an actual consolidation. Gold, if it holds the 50, it's a maybe. Google, kind of looks like it's trying to go. We'll see. IWM also broke back above the 50. Meta, it's got a lot of work to do still, in my opinion. Microsoft, I feel like this could be short-lived by those tech stocks. It's just my general feeling. Netflix, Nvidia, I don't know. What are your thoughts on what we're seeing here today? Will I alert the new trade? Bob, how do you mean? Did it not alert? What does that mean? It came across, right? Apple had earnings overnight, which caused the gap up. But yeah, Bob, I think it was prudent to close. Okay, what else? Where do you look? Go to, it's in your email, and it's in the Market Watch announcements. It's supposed to flag you. It's supposed to alert everybody. But I may have to look into the notification settings. So if you look here, under Market Watch announcements, you can see today at 12:54. So check your notifications maybe to make sure this is, it says it's published. Anyways, let me know. I'm going to move this back over. And let's get back to the stage. Got it. Press received it via email. Okay. That's where I have to get the text on. That's the last piece of the puzzle. So it's going to come via alert, email, via Market Watch announcements, and via text, but you have to sign up for the text. Okay. Picard, industrials, a little concerning. Q's back above is just kind of like gasping for breath, in my opinion, above the 50. Before it gets dunked down one more time. It's not looking good, in my opinion. SPY, 3 minutes left. Where are we at for volume? I said we might get to 65. We're at 59. Yeah, that sounds about right. We'll get about 5 million more. TSM. Oh, there's a little bullishness in the chips, but again, I'm thinking last gasp. I don't know. We're going to see how this puts us. I don't want to get sucked in. Let's see the VIX. If you look at the VIX back here, the VIX actually same thing, right? Late August, it spat it out, and then it went up, and then it came down and got a little lower, and then out of nowhere, bam, it just came. Yeah, look, right? So In this regard, the VIX let us down. The VIX didn't give us a higher low. We've got to really kind of get subtle and find the nuance here. And I think we're doing it the right way. Give me your thoughts. I'm really iffy and ready to put hedges on. Anything I get bullish with, I will be ready to hedge quickly. I'll promise you that. Waste management. Let me get back to 6 months. It looks like it's ready for a bounce, but it's got a very sideways trend right now. Walmart, same thing, very sideways trend. Materials have eased up, hovering at the 50. Communication services is trying to get back up. We've got Google strong, Meta not so much. Energy, barely hanging on here. Oil's already below the 50, so that's nice. Financials back above the 50, looks ready to try to bounce. I like that a lot. That's where I'm probably most bullish. Industrials, second behind that, but find the strength. Technology, we need to do realignment in industrials especially, and maybe a little bit in financials. We need to do some searching. Don't let me forget on Sunday to not get too talky, and so we have time for sector rotation analysis. Staples. See, this is what I mean. Staples, that doesn't look overly defensive, but that sure as hell does, right? That's what I mean subtly between the two. That looks a little bit, but not any overly so. Stable. That looks defensive. A lot of money flowing into utilities. Healthcare's not much. And then look at this, though. Oh, a little sign of hope. I don't know. That's where I see it. What do you think? Am I on point? Am I off? What are we looking for next week? Possibility for bullish trades. Possibility for bullish trades in financials. Maybe also in industrials. Definitely keeping the delta neutral trades going. Trading plan. Don't forget the big focus for section 2 was, if you missed it, we had a great working session. I'm building a sample trading plan. People who saw it found it very helpful. When I'm done, I'll post it. I'm trying to find a place where to post our resources on. I'm trying to find a place where to post our resources on Discord, so you'll have them available there. Remember that we're working on your implications. Section D was the focus. What types of trades? How long are they going to last? How will you adjust your risk? What strategies or systems trade? Really getting comfortable with being able to pinpoint those characteristics of your trading based on the market characteristics that you have identified in your market posture analysis. I think we're in a great place. Got some trades that are making money. We're ready to do some more. Overall risk is down. Posture is in the right place. We're seeing the market well. What's the plan? I love that we no longer have Zoom. We're going to continue on. I hope Michael, I haven't seen him. I hope he realizes and will just join us here on Discord. We have a new link. Not that you guys need it because you're on, but it's a custom link. That's why I boosted our server. I'm learning so many new things about Discord. It's fascinating. I need my son home more to help me with this stuff. It's good to see you guys. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Sunday morning.